We are good to go. I appreciate you coming by.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
And certainly bearing with us because, we're running a little late this morning.
Oh man, no. There was part of me too that was like, oh, why did I sign up for this time, dude? I should have just done it when we weren't doing a show. And we were up late last night.
Yeah, that was a fun show, man.
Thanks for coming out.
So everyone listening and watching to this, we got a little extra podcast for you guys this week. We are here with Wyatt from Homebody. Just got done with a fucking killer show last night, dude. And that whole lineup was great because it was LaMelo, Slide Montero, and then you guys.
Yeah.
And I want to get into all of that. I want to get into your music and just everything. Before we do, we're going to do a quick little ad spot for the people that made this live stream possible.
Hell yeah.
I'm proud to announce that the podcast is now officially sponsored by the fine people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, this is some of the best chili you can get here in the state of New Mexico, and they are online as well as in stores. They can be found at Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, John Brooks, and Lowe's Corner Market. They have 3 amazing flavors that you see here, and they also have frozen green chili that you can get online. Go on over to the website, chopchilico.com, and get yourself some amazing chili today.
Hit the battering.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's
You can fucking pick it up, dude.
Yeah. It's not sharp.
No, it comes out of the magnet.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that sick?
That is so sick. It's fucking heavy, dude.
Yeah. All right. So your fucking show last night was great. Big props to fucking Slide Montero and LaMelo.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that guy Abel can shred on the guitar. Oh my god,
he's a good showman. He always loves running out in the audience and doing. I remember he was the first time I ever saw like an actual stage dive from like a local band. There was like 10 people there, but he's a skinny enough guy. I can't. If I try to do that, I'm on the floor.
Oh shit!
I'm like Jack Black in School of Rock, dude. Like everyone moves out of the way when I try to do a stage dive.
Yeah, dude, that was a real good show. What I like, because I had never been to Sister for a show like that.
Really?
Frankly, I didn't even know Sister had a venue until the back end of last year.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, because like I had seen a couple of ads during the summer of last year for shows at Sister, and I was like, where? Like right in the front of Sister? Because I didn't know that you literally pull back the curtains and there's an entire venue.
Okay. I guess
no
that makes sense. When did you kind of start going to Sister? Because I remember during the pandemic, they did kind of shut that whole area down. They put the pinball machines in there. But in the before times, it was a huge venue and they had some pretty substantial indie acts. Like I remember I saw King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, who's a really big Australian band. They played there, which when I saw that I was like, what? And you'd see some big bands on the indie circuit, like national touring acts come through Sister. And then you'd also have the local shows, and then they have the DJ nights.
Right.
Sister does it right.
They're awesome, man. Because, well, to be frank, before the pandemic, I was not the guy that goes out. I did not go out and drink. Like, because when not that I'm rich now, but I was poor as fuck.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I could either go out and spend $50 on like because I like whiskey, right? So on 4 drinks of whiskey, right? If it's like including tip, tax, $50. Or I can stay in and get one of those, because we were fucking delinquents. We used to buy, because we had no taste and had no idea how to spend money, we would buy the 1 3/4 liter fucking Jack Daniels bottles and just pound out of those. So I was like, okay, those cost $30 and that is going to last me for a week. I'm just going to live off of that.
Yeah.
And so, but during the pandemic and everything shut down, like it didn't start to fuck with me until like July of 2020.
Yeah.
July or August. And I was like, oh man, what if this doesn't come back?
Yeah.
And I was like, man,
everyone was thinking that.
Yeah. I was like, well, if any of this ever comes back, I'm definitely going to try to be more social, try to
go out more,
do things.
Yeah.
And so then the podcast happened and I was like, all right, this is becoming increasingly obvious that, as much as I love having my friends on, as much as I love talking to them, I do want to meet new people. I do want to have conversations with brand new people. And
Yeah.
I can do a lot of my, I mean, this is how we met, was through Instagram.
Yeah.
you know?
Establishes community, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
In
But
the
like
Albuquerque area.
But then at the end of the day, my thought process too was like, if I'm going to ask someone to come in, especially if they're a musician, right? If I'm going to ask someone to come in for an hour or two to hang out and talk, the least I can fucking do is go see their show.
Oh yeah.
Like
Hey,
that.
no, we appreciate
yeah,
it.
that is
dude.
the
Yeah.
absolute least that I can do. So
Yeah.
I try to go out more, go meet people, go
Yeah.
see. And I just love going to live music, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's so fun.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, and you start to, especially Albuquerque's a small enough town. It's funny too, cause like, yeah, the night before the show, we ran into each other at fucking
Chiba Hut.
Oh, can I cuss on here?
Oh yes,
I always forget
yeah,
that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. The banner is based off of OnlyFans. I think cussing's okay.
That makes sense. But yeah, I ran into you to Chiba Hut, and you didn't meet me, but I know you from seeing the podcast, so I was like able to be like, "Yo," and I waved at you, and you just like were like, "I don't know that guy."
Well, yeah, because like again,
It could be anyone.
my brain immediately just goes into like social anxiety. Okay, he's talking to you, dude. And I look back and I saw a table with a couple of girls. I'm like, oh, okay, he's probably talking to the girls. I'm like, oh wait, nope, it's me. Okay,
That's you, dude. I know. So I had to come up and be like, "No, dude, I messaged you." Well, but yeah. So and that's the cool thing about Albuquerque. Cool. I'm sure a lot of people get sick of it too, though, because I remember when I lived here. I'm in Portland now, but I'm here for the tour. But when I lived here, you see the same people, which can be a bummer in some ways. But now that I'm living in Portland, it's something a little bit that I miss because there's you'll see enough people out and about, and maybe you'll start to become friends with them, or it just gives you a sense of community a little bit. And that is something I like, but yeah, so it's funny, like when you go out to shows, you'll start seeing the same people, and if everyone's really digging in and the energy is kind of the same on the communal level, it just makes all the shows feel like last night was so fun because we had 3 bands, and I feel like all of us have a pretty decent sized pool, which made a giant pool, and everyone was there for each other, and like I haven't seen a lot of done a lot of shows like that where like there's a lot of people at the opening set, there's a lot of people in the middle set, and then there's like just the right amount of people for everyone's set, and everyone was down and like hanging out and just having a good time. So
and that's what I absolutely love about this like post-pandemic Albuquerque is I think a lot of people realize that there's a ton of talent.
Yeah.
But also with the local economy here in New Mexico, how poor we are, and there's not a whole lot of opportunities. That's forcing a lot of creators to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And it's still kind of there, kind of like in the older generation where it's like, well, because we were talking about this on Thursday night when we were doing the podcast, was like where a lot of people, their mindset is you can become successful, you can become famous even or whatever, but you can't just get better than me. Right, you can't. It's like the person that gets really successful here, and they start telling people and their even their family or their friends, like, "Oh, what? You're all fucking famous now, or what? You got money now? What's up? What's going on?" And that mindset, I kind of see that like. I hope that's not me. Oh, not me.
We got break in
down
live
down in the South Valley, son. But yeah, it's. I'm very glad that mindset's kind of going away because, like, especially in Albuquerque.
It's because the older people are dying.
Thanks,
As
COVID.
this happens, right?
Thanks, COVID. But no, like, people are realizing that with the small community that we have, it has to be a feast, not a famine.
Yeah.
Like, if we all support if all these if all these bands support each other, like, you put out my shit, I'll put out your shit. We have shows together, like, and. What I'm learning is super important, and it's very obvious when you say it out loud. But what I'm learning firsthand is super important is how to properly set up a lineup. Like you guys, while you all had your distinct sound, you all flowed together very well.
Yeah.
And so, like, for instance, I'm obviously a huge fan of a band here, the Slums of Harvard.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see them play last night, but I don't think they would have fit in with that set because they're a lot more pop punk. And you guys, that whole lineup were a lot more like wavy, like indie, Pink Floyd, like borderline psychedelic, like that kind of feel. And then just to ram a Blink-182 in there, I don't think that would have been the best move. You know what I mean?
No.
But it's awesome that like there's still all that support going around.
Yeah.
And then when I saw people in the fucking crowd for Side Montero and for you guys, like, I mean, it's awesome to see people show out for local stuff. But man, like, I'm looking into the crowd and there's people fucking singing along to the lyrics. And I'm like,
that was the first time for me.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I was surprised about that. We actually like met fans, like for the first time. It was like people that weren't my friends or anything that like I had never met before that came up to me after and were like talking to me and were like, yeah, we found you on like the Spotify algorithm. And it was like, finally, dude, like I'm always hearing about this algorithm working for people. I was like, I don't see it, you know, I'll do a bunch of shows. But what you're saying about the set, like building a dynamic set, that was something that was hard to learn for me and the other two guys in my band. Cause we've been in the Albuquerque scene for a bit, like 10 years. And what's a little bit hard about Albuquerque is that there's so many different kinds of bands, but not really a scene per se. And so I remember I was in a rock duo for a while called Mountainhead, and we had like a very particular rock sound, but like most of the bands we would play with would be very like either screamo or metal and it didn't matter what the show was. It just never felt like we were a band playing with other bands that were like us. And so when, you know, now I'm like 30 and we got this Homebody band, that's our new thing. And we've just been around a bit longer now. And there's so many different artists now in Albuquerque, I think, since the pandemic, and people have had a chance to kind of explore themselves and learn how to do it themselves, that we were able to like, okay, we can be thoughtful about this and how we're going. Because we were very selective about what bands were going to play with us. Yeah, because you know, we were just trying to be at that kind of next level. Because, you know, once you hit our age, it's like, you know, you got to start really, if you're going to be, you know, blowing your money to go on tour and do these shows and like, oh, I have a week off, like most people take a vacation for that. But if like you're me, it's like, I'm gonna do a tour, you know, that's a loss of money and just more work than vacation, really. So it's like, if you're gonna do that, you got to do it right, and you got to fucking think about every aspect, like what band goes where, how you're gonna do the flow, and just be as professional as you can about it, because it's like for real, you know.
Because that is your biggest like, social media is invaluable, obviously. Yeah. But as far as putting a face to the name of Homebody, getting the music out there and really showing people what you're about, the live performance is where it's at.
Definitely.
That's where it's at.
That's where you get new people. Yeah, that's where you get new people, because the way our current music streaming and music consumption habits lie, most people don't even really have follow bands as much anymore, because it's just like, oh, they hear a song and they'll like it and they'll put it on a playlist or whatever. Yes. And then you'll have hundreds of that, just bands you've never heard of, or bands that like you don't really follow or listen to the full album or whatever, because there's just so much stuff out there, because the whole world's out there. And then so when you go out to see maybe a band that you've never seen before, or you've just heard one song and then you go out to see them, you really kind of have to put it all on the line, which is my MO for everything. I try to give everything to the audience, sometimes at the expense of, like, because I'm playing bass and singing, which is way fucking harder than guitar. And so it's like sometimes I'll hit a wrong note, but it's like you just got to have the energy and just like give everything, because you impress someone with the experience of a live show, and that's what wins them over for real.
Well, and it's good that you have that mindset, because I mean you kind of just touched on it a little bit, but you know, it's awesome that we have streaming. It's awesome that access to music is larger than it ever has been. But at the same time, you're not necessarily in my opinion, as far as media goes. Yeah, you're in competition with like other artists or other like music creators. You're really in competition for people's attention.
Yeah,
everything. That's what you're competing for. It's not for likes or for plays or any of that. It's their attention. It's how much. I remember learning this marketing thing in psychology, where if it's a brand new product, right? It takes someone an average of 4 to 8 times to either hear about it or see it before they actually decide to buy that new product. And so with with the algorithms and with Spotify and all that, the way that's set up, it's like, well, you know, if for the average consumer, it's like, yeah, I could check out this brand new band that I saw last night, or I just got told about a new band. or I could just go back to the playlists that I know.
Yeah.
I could go back to listen to the artists that I know. And so being able to break through that and do these live shows, that's super important.
Yeah.
So-
and that, cause that's more, of the, like the tangential part of the experience of itself, because why music and art connects so like viscerally with people is because, they can kind of put themselves in whatever the medium is. So it's
Right.
like if there's a song someone really relates to, they're not thinking, oh, this is why it's saying this to me. They're saying, this is me saying it through myself, but this person's singing it. So it's like, if you can relate that to someone and then put it into an actual memory or a very memorable experience that becomes part of their psyche, then they're then that's something that will be with them way longer than, just something that they put kind of on music in the background or wallpaper or whatever. And because, it goes to selling like the product, right? Or what you were saying about like, because all of it's pushing a product, and it's like, it would be great if like we could just make money off of that. But really we're not. So like we can only make money off of selling things on tour and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it like what I'm going to remember for me is those couple fans that like came up and talked to me after, where it's like, I didn't care if we didn't sell anything that night or whatever. Just the fact that people came out and like said, yeah, like we found this, and just people singing along. That's stuff that's going to be with me forever. So we try to push the product because we want to do this as best we can and as long as we can, but it's always ends to a mean. I'd rather have the experience than the product for sure.
Well, and that's such a unique interaction to have. Not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
And it's like, because it's one thing, because I had it a bit last night for like really like in sizable quantity, where I had people coming up to me about the podcast. I was like,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Last night?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Okay, this is something to get used to. But like, I had imagined, like, because like you just said,
It's a little weird.
It is. But with how you're saying, like with music, like people aren't like, I don't listen to my favorite bands and I'm like, yeah, that fucking, yeah, Green Day. No, I get it. I'm like, no, wait a minute. This is a reflection of a memory that I've had, or this is an experience that I've gone through that I'm like remembering and I'm thinking about, or like meditating on, or make me feel shit again. And so be able to create music and give that to someone, that's at a whole other level. And then they come say thank you for it.
Yeah.
That's great. So how long before leaving Albuquerque did you start Homebody?
So I moved back to Albuquerque because I was born here, but I moved away. I came back to finish college in like 2013. And then I kind of joined the music scene, and through college and other people, I met the two guys in my band, Marshall and Kendall. And they were in a band called Eugene, and they got me in on that. And I was also living with them, and we just kind of played a bunch of different projects with each other before I left for Portland. And we just kind of were always doing different stuff. I have like my solo stuff that Kendall would play on, or Marshall produced my first record, or I would play bass on Kendall's project. It's very much just a pool musicians type thing, but we were always good homies. And then I moved to Portland 2019, literally right before the pandemic. Yeah.
Rough.
Not a good time to move, especially for Portland, dude. Cause,
it's like buying a house in late 2007. Jesus.
Yeah, almost exactly. Because it was cool. Portland was such a pretty, beautiful place with great infrastructure. The city was like nice and stuff. And then just like pandemic happened. Then the riots happened, and the riots lasted longer. The riots and the protests lasted over a year. Jesus. Like longer than anywhere else in the country. And the whole city pretty much got in shambles. And then the city's been really bad about getting back on its feet, trying to like get it back together.
Get their shit back together.
Yeah. So the way Homebody started was that the pandemic pretty much everyone's on lockdown, and within a few weeks, everyone got that check, that first Trump check. For the
stimulus check.
Yeah, and I bought my laptop with it, and then I could like make recordings. And Kendall basically sent us like a guitar and drum track. I was like, "You guys want to just make something while we're here?" I was like, "Sure." And so I added some bass and vocals and keys, just kind of like scratch take ideas, like not even like this isn't going to be the final version. This is just like here's my idea. Let's see if we can run with it. Marshall did the same, and Kendall put it all together, and just like instantly it was like, oh, those were the takes, and that was the song, and that's the first song on our EP that we put out in October. So it was like, and it had its own sound, and it had it's very colorful, and it was like something that came so easily without, when you're a music creator or songwriter or a producer or whatever, you're always thinking of like how to make stuff, but the best things happen when it's subconscious, like you're not thinking at all about it. Like even the lyrics, the lyrics for that song were like a poem that I'd written because of the pandemic. Like maybe the week before Kendall sent that song out. So I was looking for words to sing. So I wasn't even thinking about it, like it being for that song, and it just worked. And so it's just like, it all came together within a day. And then, we're like, well, this is working, so let's keep doing it. And then it became its own life. And then we did our release show in October last year. And
was that in Portland or was that here?
That was here in Albuquerque.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for me to come here than have those two come up here. And we're all from here, so it's like we have more of a family and friends that can come visit and stuff. So when we did our show, we put our release out. We actually got put on a few indie playlists. Nice. From our Marshall kind of helped send them out, but like we got accepted by some like pretty big playlists that had like before way big, like Burp FM. It's a FM radio station, and then now they do playlists and stuff. And like all of a sudden we got like 1,000 followers in like a few weeks on Spotify. Our main song that we sent, Paper Grasshoppers, got like we just got this like quick thing of success. It's not like a huge amount.
No, you got a good bump. No, we got a nice bump.
And more than any of our other things that we had ever done. So we were like, okay, well, this is clearly something like worth pursuing if we're getting feedback that this is what it's like. So we decided to keep it going, and now we're here to do this tour.
Well, that's a super important thing that I think a lot of people need to hear, is that, of course you hear about people who make one song and gets released and it goes like viral or whatever. And half of that's a load of bullshit, because it's funny, 'cause I had no idea. Like I just listen to music. I don't really look into the background of it or any of that.
Yeah.
But a buddy of mine who helped me produce this podcast in the beginning, we were having a conversation because he makes music too. And somehow it came up about how like Billie Eilish got famous out of nowhere. But then you look in the back end of it, and like her parents actually work in record companies and these and like they know a bunch of people from what's the fucking main the
Universal.
From Universal Records, and then another from Warner Music or whatever it was.
Warner Music,
from Warner Music, and they know all the people that run it, and they're able to boost it up and get
well, and in some ways that's all things is kind of nepotism in some degree, but even in your life, it's like not your life, not your life, dude. No, in like I feel like everyone's life it is. And that's why they really focus. Like I remember in college, they always said it's about networking, and that's something too that you can't take for granted, because if you're just an asshole, like that's going to catch up to you. It doesn't matter how good of a musician you are or how good of anything that you are. If you're like, well, I think of like Mike Tyson, so maybe not.
Hey, Mike Tyson's the shit, son.
He's the shit. No, I'm just saying back in the day, back
in his prime, he was a fucking annihilator.
Yeah.
He was a monster.
He was a monster, dude, and went to some stuff. But that's a. I was just thinking, like, I was trying to imagine, like, that was a guy who was so talented he could overcome that. But anyways, but I'm just saying, like, in the long terms, it's like your life really is like who you meet that helps you get to the different places that you go to.
Yeah.
Because if you're just like I've met some of the most talented people I've ever met, but they just don't have any kind of social apparatus skills for like some of those really genius people that they just don't know how to like talk. And but the ones that do, it's because they usually have a manager or they have a whole background team of people that help them get to where they want to go. And that's for all things, actors, sports people, it's all, you have to have a village, right? To
Yeah.
make
Oh,
the
and
thing.
especially here in Albuquerque, like I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this place is because we're going through this like renaissance of fucking music and entertainment. Everyone in that, like everyone who's working at it wants everyone else to succeed finally, and we're all trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And maybe people just want to be, the band that kicks it around here and just plays music here, goes to their day job, does this, and that's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. There are bands that want to go out and be fucking world touring rock stars. We've got, and then like, I've been able to, which I'm really happy about because I fucking love stand-up comedy.
Oh yeah, dude, me too.
The stand-up scene here is growing.
Yeah.
So I've been able to like speak to a lot of comedians, and they're the
Yeah.
exact same way. They're all just trying to like get along this, and then. But there can't be, well, for one, in my opinion anyway, there can't be a whole lot of gatekeeping that goes on. And then, you have to be able to network properly.
Yeah.
You have to be. And so, like, I was having this conversation with Peach when she came through.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a conversation.
Oh, Peach, dude.
And
Shout out to Peach.
yeah, she's awesome. And absolute sweetheart. And we were talking about how easy it is because of, like the positive of Albuquerque and really New Mexico, but, like, Albuquerque being so small. Is once you go out a little more, you start to know each other, you meet people, you see the same people, you build more of that goodwill, and then you're able to kind of network and branch out, and we get along fine.
Yeah.
But it is so easy, I feel like, to just tarnish your reputation.
Yeah.
And you make, you make one wrong move, you say the bad thing, you piss off the wrong person, and that's like obviously, that's excluding like doing actually like heinous or otherwise horrible things to people.
Yeah,
But like
obviously.
if you just walk around like you're the shit and you're better than everybody else, or you just treat people horribly, I mean, people are gonna know that about you.
It'll
then,
catch up.
Yeah. So why are they going to want to do a fucking show with you? Why are they going to want to collaborate on a song with you?
Oh yeah, and the people at the people at venues, like Sister, if we were playing, or Launchpad, if you do something that like really rubs them the wrong way, like they don't, because sometimes it's harder to get into certain venues. I remember because when I was starting out here, I didn't know anything about anything and like how to get gigs and how to get, because I don't know anything about marketing. Now I do, and now I know how to run a show somewhat successfully. But it's like, if you're going to be in it for the long run, you have to be listening to people who've been doing it forever, and you have to not take their time for granted, because they're not there to help you. Because like everyone, like we should always be building everyone up, but at the same time, you have to understand that it's a give and take.
Well, it's a business.
Yeah, it's a business.
And that's not to say that everyone's are leaches, but no, it's a business.
yeah,
like, you're going to help me, I'm going to help you.
Yeah,
And
the venue's not there to help you with your grand, the vision in your head. If that's the byproduct of you bringing things into their show and then having a successful show, that's great. But like they don't care at all like what the vision in your head is. You have to show them that your vision's going to be great, and you have to do it in a way where you're not stepping on their toes or stepping on the other musicians' toes or band's toes, because people remember that, and people talk, and people, get wrapped up in stuff that's like, like all of a sudden there's these like, this person said this and this person knows this, and like, don't fucking talk to that person. You talk to that person, they did this to me, whenever, and it's. I'm
sorry to experience that firsthand.
Yeah, we all
not
experience
that I'm doing anything. I hear the stories.
Yeah, you hear
I
the
love
stories.
being an outsider and just like learning and absorbing and.
Of course, and well, it's like what we're all victim to that.
Yeah.
No one's. And the thing is, too, it's like, honestly, if you're someone who everyone likes, you're probably not that interesting of a person. If you don't make a few enemies in life, are you really living like?
Yeah.
properly?
Well, that's like one of the worst people to get around is like the person. Like, don't get me wrong, there can be altruistic people and there can be individuals that are just universally liked. That happens. I mean, if that wasn't the case, we probably wouldn't have gotten Jim Carrey and Robin Williams. Like, I've yet to meet one person that didn't like those fucking people, right?
Yeah.
But. If you meet and that's what I love about doing this podcast is like, obviously it's like helped me become like better at conversations, better
talking to you.
like articulate myself. But I really believe that everyone has about 15 to 20, maybe 30 minutes worth of bullshit inside of them, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like these pre-saved answers, a pre-established narrative they have about themselves, where it may or may not be true. And they just kind of have these things where they just go on autopilot, whether it's doing this, whether it's at a bar, whether it's at work, you know, it's like, I'm going to say, like, I have a Rolodex of fucking answers, and I'm going to pull out the ones that fit the situation best and just get on with my life. Not really. But if you actually want to talk to somebody, and I feel like this is also something that's kind of growing because podcasting has exploded.
Yeah.
Like, just the ability to, like, think critically and get across your vision well, because you're right. Like, and the reason I'm bringing all this up is, like, with the venues, their job is not to make you the next the next Billboard top 10. Like, that's not their job.
Yeah, that's your job.
Exactly. Their job is to sell booze and make people have a good time, make them want to come back. And you brought up a really good point earlier about saving people's time. Mm-hmm. One thing that has really angered me, like legitimately, like because it just inconveniences me almost every weekend, is because of the crime post-pandemic here in Albuquerque, everything closes so early.
Yeah,
and it's
I
a real,
that.
like, I remember pre-pandemic, the couple of times that I went out, Sister stayed open till like 2:30.
Yeah.
And then now for people listening that live in like LA or fucking Miami, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? But like you guys party till the fucking sun goes down or sun comes up. But you know, here our bars close at 1.
Yeah.
Some bars actually close at 11 or 12 during the week. Walmart, no more 24 hours. There is no food that stays open past 10, except for like Frontier and then a brewery.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, dude, that was the bummer because I remember those were some of my favorite times in Albuquerque, dude, when I lived here. Because in Portland, I was shocked to find out what a sleepy city Portland is.
Really?
Oh man, like most places close by 8 or 9 there.
I couldn't do that
on a Friday. A lot of times.
I can't.
I know. Me and my girlfriend, partner, whatever will make people less angry. Or what I call the person I love most in my life. We went to go see Nick Kroll, a guy from Big Mouth.
Yeah.
He does stand up. So we went to go see him at like this big theater downtown Portland. We get out at like 10 or 9:30, I think, and the car park lot is like stacked. So we're like, let's go find something to eat, get a drink or something while we're waiting. We walked for like 45 minutes, didn't find a single place open to eat. Downtown
That's
Portland.
Rough.
Yeah, and it's like it's like 2.5 million people live here. Like what? And
it's that big of a city?
A lot of busies. Oh well, so it and Austin are the two from the past 10 years are the grossest fasting cities in the country.
Well, Austin is fucking exploding.
Yeah, no, Austin. They're almost sister cities in weird ways, but like they were both under 1 million in 2009, 2008, and then around 2010, they like more than doubled their population. So now they're both at like 2.5 million or something like that. Crazy.
That's insane.
And you can tell when you're driving too, because it's like built like a small city. So like there's all these roads that have huge amounts of traffic that have cars going all different ways, and you're like, well, you could just tell like this was not built for this many people on the traffic,
right?
On the freeways.
Well, and that's insane to me that things were closed by fucking 10 o'clock at night downtown.
I mean, I'm sure there's places that I just don't know.
Right,
but
yeah.
like,
but, you know, in a place like that, you should be able to just walk around and find shit. And then, so, like, here in Albuquerque, everything closes early. You don't have a whole lot of, like, if you have a schedule, you need to stick to it. And you're right. Like, let's say you're a band, and for fucking some reason, you think you're so good that you're going to play 5 fucking encores. Or you think you're so fucking good that you're going to show up an hour and a half late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do... Because I'd imagine that most venues... Like, I feel like Launchpad would be the place for this. I don't know how they run it. But, you know, if a band is fucking killing it down there and they do a couple of encore songs and the crowd keeps being happy, people want to come back to see a show there next time, people want to keep getting, oh, they're doing another encore, I'm going to get another drink, you know, that type of thing. I'm sure they're fine with that. Mm-hmm. But staying like if you're a band that stays like an hour past your time, which I'm sure there's people that have done that.
Yeah,
I'm sure there has been.
We did that a little bit last night. So.
Oh, really?
Well, no, it's just like they were closing up because that was the thing too. Like because I haven't been here, so I didn't know that everything was closing so much earlier. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember Sister staying up like super late.
Yeah.
And people being there. And then by like when it was getting at like 12:30, 12:45, the guy was like, "Oh, can we start striking the stage?" I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry. Let me finish our drinks, get this stuff out." But no, shout out to Sister, because those fools know how to run it, man.
Well, they're
Love
great,
Sister.
man.
Love them.
But I'd imagine they would not be as thrilled if you showed up an hour late, showed up an hour and a half late, or you showed up not prepared, or you showed up not doing a sound check.
Yeah, running sound check, dude. That's
Yeah.
that's where you can really, like, if you don't have the clear plan, things can go awry pretty quick.
Yeah, because then it's like, all right, now you have a bunch of people standing in a room waiting for a show. Show may or may not happen. And then it's like, all right, great. If you're in the middle of the lineup, that last band might not be able to go on.
Yeah.
Or
pushes it back.
yeah, just you push everything back. You fuck up a timeline. People don't want to work with you anymore. And so you brought up a little bit earlier how when you see an opportunity to go push this, you go do it. Has that mindset always kind of been there, or have you had to kind of like ingrain that into you where it's like, hey, I got to go be a hard worker if I want to make this work. I have to actually dedicate time, effort, and money. Like this is going to take this is real commitment.
The work ethic was always there. The direction that I was focusing the energy on was very misaligned, because that's the trial and error part.
Yes.
Because and there's a lot of people that have the books and stuff, and I read some of them, and I watch a bunch of people interview about like how to go about doing things. But a lot of times it's more just knowing what your strengths are and how to play to them. So for me, it just took me a long time to understand, because it's like I dedicated my whole life to music. There's a very clear point when I was 15, I think, that I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do in the future, but this is going to be kind of my main priority, and depending if I succeed or not, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just going to do it. But then going about it in the right ways, how to talk to people, how to network, like we were talking about, or like how to book a show, how to market yourself, how to basically be a business unto yourself, a brand unto yourself, which I'm still not good at that part, because I just do not give a shit what people think about me. Because I hate playing to, I don't know, things like that in my appearance and images and stuff like that. But it's like just trying to do things in a way that finding out how to play to your strengths. Like I was saying, it's like be like in my Homebody band, we're all tight and playing off of each other on what we're good at. So Marshall, our guitar player, is also kind of our manager, because he's very, he does Excel sheets. He does, he's like very, not OCD. He might be a little OCD, but I love you, Marshall. But like when you see, like, he'll send us these things so we can look at like expenses, and I'm like, whoa, okay. Cool,
hey, you
dude.
need that. You need that.
Yeah, and he's good at that. And Kendall's this awesome music maker, our drummer, Kendall, and overall dude. Like, honestly, what's hard about Homebody is that all of us do so many different things, and since we started as a recording project first and not as a live band, we had to really wrap our heads around how we were going to do it, because it was really like, oh, here's this song, Kendall already did the guitar, bass, and drums, what am I going to add? Because Kendall's a beast, dude. He's actually more of a guitar player, but he's been working on drums hard and doing triggers and stuff. But so I'll add pianos to a song, or I do harmonies. And so when it's just like the three of us playing, though, it's like we really had to think on how we were going to make our live sound be different than what we have recorded, but still kind of accent those hits. And so it's just like, if you get yourself a team that everyone is playing a part to build onto the whole, you can just deliver a lot better. Whereas like when I was 20 starting, 21, I just go out like, can I play here, please, sir? Here's my demo CD that sounds like shit. I don't know why. It's like a prepubescent Jordan Peterson I just went into. I don't know what that was. But
that's probably how you look to a lot of the Fendu promoters. Like, all right, another guy with the demo. Let's see what's going on.
yeah, because it's like you're a kid, and it's like
Yeah.
maybe they even listen to it. Like, but it's like a lot of times it's all networking. You have to know the guy that runs it, or the person that runs it, or the person that books. And it's just like I didn't know that, so I spent a lot of wasted time on doing the wrong thing. And
Right.
then you just slowly like, oh no, do this, no, do that, and then eventually.
Well, and and obviously in the moment it's like, fuck, what am I doing? I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall. Like, where am I going? But in retrospect,
this was a mistake.
yeah. But if you keep working at what you're doing and you're able to look back and say, okay, I know what doesn't work now, and I now have because like, and we were talking about this a couple nights ago. Like, you can show humans generally 5 different ways to do something. Right,
And they'll usually pick the stupidest.
and they're not. Well, not only are they going to pick the worst way to do it, typically, if you're trying to show them the right way, they're going to learn the right way by doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
That is why. That is how most lessons end up being learned.
Yeah,
It's not by like. Don't get me wrong. There, like, you can have great experiences. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna whatever that did that created that feeling. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
But a lot of things are learned through adversity and rejection, and just being told no,
Yeah.
or not even being told anything.
I have attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way. Because that's all. If you're, there's a lot of people that make the same mistakes over and over again, and it's because they aren't paying attention to what's going on. And so I feel like I've managed to do that in my life, which is good. Because yeah, when your attention's everything, and I think there's a lot of unhealthy lifestyle choices. A lot of times people are conditioned into by their upbringing, where if something goes wrong, they instantly nullify it by getting into a zoned out space with like drinking or smoking or whatever.
Right.
Where it's just like they have to numb themselves from the pain and put themselves in the state. But by doing that, they just kind of perpetuate the negative lifestyle cycles that they're living in. And there's kind of a bit where you have to embrace the pain. You have to embrace that this thing happened to you, and you took in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And kind of focus on it and learn how to turn that into a positive for the future. Like, I'm not going to do that again,
Well, and I wish he was here because he'd be able to explain it a lot better than I could. But one of our roommates, Joey.
Shout out to Joey.
Yeah, he's a good guy, real good guy. He so the reason I am living with my friends currently is because me and my chick had split up last year, and we were living together.
Bro.
And my friends are great, and they let me move in here. And there was, just like you were saying, there was one night where is
he one of them?
Yeah. He's one of the roommates. He is one of the friends, yes. And I don't think he'd be sitting behind that.
Dude, you're a good friend, man. I would
Yeah.
not, like, if one of my friends broke up with their chick, I'd let him stay for a bit in my place. But I'd be like, dude, all right, time for you to get your own place, dude. No,
I think I think the slightly lowering of the rent was a good bargaining chip too.
Okay.
So, hey, wait a minute.
It worked out.
Yeah,
I
the
gotcha.
rent goes down by a couple. All right, cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, come on. But no, it was awesome. But what still is. But this was like, maybe I hadn't even moved in yet. This might have been night 0 of the breakup, maybe even night 2, right?
Man.
So I'm in it. I am in it.
You're
And
sushi raw, dude.
yeah, I'm a fucking mess. And I'm expecting my buddy, I'm expecting him to be like, all right, figure your shit out. Or like, fucking, like me get told to fucking, don't fucking worry about it. It's not a big thing. Or don't fucking show emotion, whatever it was. We were sitting together, and we're sitting in the living room, and I'm on this couch, and he's like right here. And he's just like staring at me. And I'm like, fuck, now I'm in fucking tears. One of my best friends is just looking at me like I'm an idiot. Like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like staring at me for about 30 to 40 seconds. And he goes, because I sat back, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And he goes, whatever you're feeling right now, sit with that.
Yeah, sit with it.
Sit with it. Feel everything you're feeling right now. Don't fight it. Just let it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what the fuck?
Don't numb it.
Yeah.
Don't go on Instagram and slide in all those girls' DMs to try and get some rebound. Just sit with it for a second.
Yeah. And so, but it's interesting that you brought up the idea of people trying to like nullify and get rid of those emotions through substances because, dude, Oregon's doing some pretty experimental shit from what I've heard, right?
Dude. Oh my God, yeah. Yep. And dude, it's getting to a point where it's like you just go online and they have microdosing shroom pills and stuff that's apparently legal, and they make specific ones for like couples who are like gonna have sex that are very focused on, being horny. Like it's got like gillyweed. I can't remember. It's like something guys take.
No, yeah, it's like, can you look that up, dude? It's like gillywhack or some shit like that.
I think gillyweed's from fucking Harry Potter. But no, horny goatweed.
Yeah, goatweed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not gillyweed's.
Gillyweed's the Harry Potter shit, right?
Sorry,
but no, you're good. But no, the reason I bring that up is like, if I'm not mistaken, they've got fucking Okay, the first thing is Ron Jeremy.
That's about right.
You can close out that VPN shit, dude. We don't need it,
man. Dude, honestly, what a legend though, Ron Jeremy. God, like what a weird dude, but man, if you have a Sublime song that references you, it's like I'm hornier than Ron Jeremy, you're doing something right.
But they
Epimedium.
Can you Epimedium. Okay, does Oregon do the safe injection sites?
Yes.
Do they? Can you pull up when they started doing that? Just look up Oregon safe injection sites, because that was the weirdest fucking thing to me. Because I remember when very clearly, I remember when Colorado legalized marijuana, and people freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's gonna ruin the society, and then it was gonna be like the what was that stupid fucking social theory that came out of nowhere? The high society theory.
High society.
Or no, the not high society. It's like the numbed society, or like it's like a play on high society. Where basically what it was is that if you legalize marijuana in a huge city or a huge state like that, what'll end up happening is like driving accidents are going to skyrocket. Fucking customer service is going to go down. Efficiency is going to go down. Because everyone's just apparently going to immediately be high out of their minds and not really fix anything. It's like, but my whole thought process behind that was, well, especially in a place like Colorado, and you're talking about marijuana specifically, if you legalize weed, and this is what we actually ended up seeing, everyone who's already smoking weed is not going to stop.
Yeah.
And everyone who's not smoking weed, for whatever reason, they're probably not going to start. It is extremely easy to find that drug.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring all that up is, so now in Oregon, have you like noticed any kind of effect of like there being stuff like safe injection sites? Like, are there like ads for it around the city?
I'm totally out of my depth on this. I have no idea.
Like, do you see do you see
yeah, I mean, there's definitely,
stuff around town that are advertising stuff like that?
No, not really around town. I think I've seen like a few sites like while I'm driving, but I haven't been paying attention at all on that. So I'm out of my depth on that. But I will say, just the amount of people I see out and about stoned when you're interacting with people, that's definitely gone up. I've seen a few guys that are just kind of like lost, wandering in the back where they're not supposed to be. I'm like, what are you doing? They're well-meaning, But no, I never bought into that at all, because it's like, to me, it pretty much worked out the way I thought it was going to be, which was like corporations just going to flood in on it, and Colorado economy is going to fucking skyrocket. Same thing with Oregon, and now they're rich as hell. So
Well, and it's crazy too with how, because there's a lot of money influx going into Oregon post COVID with all this stuff happening. But like, do they have a crazy bad like homeless problem too, right?
Yeah. Oh well, and it's only gotten worse with all the, like I was telling you about those riots that really did the infrastructure kind of just go out the window, and there's just people everywhere, and it's pretty bad. I had a couple of run-ins. You'll drive down like the main street on Main Street at like 12 p.m. on a Friday. People are just smoking crack on the street. Like, okay. That's that. There's like all kinds of tents. I don't think it's as bad as like LA from what I've seen or talked to some of my homies about, but Oregon's pretty enough that it's pretty much just like camping at that point. So it would suck though. I wouldn't want to be homeless there because man, it's just raining all the time.
Right.
It's just like so cold.
Well, that's what's crazy to me about LA is like I have friends that live there, so I'll get pictures of it, and obviously you just see it in the news every now and again, where the government just given up, and what they do is they don't even try to fix the problem. What they do is they send in things and services that sustain homeless people where they're at.
Yes.
Like, not to house or not to do any of that. Like, they'll put porta shitters in the fucking communities. They'll send doctors out to provide care.
Yeah.
And do all that. It's like, okay, so like I love the sentiment, but that is just Band-Aid solution after Band-Aid solution after Band-Aid solution. And like, have you seen the budget for like the homeless problem in LA? It's something ridiculous. Like can you pull that up? What the budget is for what would you look up? Los Angeles homeless prevention budget. It's something to the tune of $250 million a year.
Wow. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And it's sad though.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, in what universe is there going to be a solution when the people that profit or the people who work for it profit off the problem? You know, see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, if they fix the homeless problem, why are they going to have a huge budget? Why are they going to get their bonuses? Why are they going to have huge salaries? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Anytime you have a big social like issue, trying to.
Oh my God!
How much is it?
$7.2 billion dollars.
That blows what you were looking at.
Holy shit!
You weren't even close, dude.
Oh my God! Okay, so homeless. Okay, so leave it right there. Yeah, homelessness package proposes to focus on near team needs. The governor's 22 to 23 budget proposes $2 billion one-time general fund over 2 years that is intended to address near-term homelessness. Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what I mean. They have all these like bureaucratic definitions of like homelessness.
And this is what's fucked up, right? So I read near team because that's what it says.
Yeah.
But it's a typo because it's supposed to be near-term homelessness. So the damn people for the government can't even spell right. Yeah. And now they've got $7 billion.
$7.2 billion. And yeah, and whenever you have money that's that big, like you can't really keep track of it in an honest like way of like where is all this going the way it needs to go?
Well, the Pentagon, they were audited.
Yeah.
And did you see that? And they couldn't make up for 56% of their budget or some shit.
Oh man.
It's like something to the tune of $17 trillion.
Yeah.
Just went missing. Mm-hmm. But then, if you fuck up TurboTax wrong, you're going to get fucking fined to shit and sent to jail.
Oh, God, don't remind me. Dude, filling out taxes as a musician is stressful. Let's not get into it.
Yeah. We'll see, because I did it once because I opened an LLC for the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. When you're in your own business, dude.
And I did it once, and I said it was like 4 a.m. doing these fucking numbers and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, if I didn't have TurboTax, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how do people do it on their own?
H&R Block. Yeah, you take it into someone, but then they'll charge you however much. Depends on how complicated your stuff is. So yeah, you always got to keep track because the government don't forget.
They're not going to tell you how much you owe. You got to figure it out for yourself.
You got to figure out how you owe it.
So what is keeping you in Portland right now?
I just have a job there. I do have some friends there. I'm starting some other music projects up there too as well. Homebody's kind of my biggest thing that I'm pouring a lot of my stuff into. But a big part of my musical history is hard rock and kind of more over the top, funny, big, crazy, noisy riffs. And, I'm very much of that kind of personality. You could probably see at the show, I was very kind of over the top, and our music's fairly chill, more or less. So, I have some bands I'm kind of starting on up there, but I am giving it a little bit of time. And if things aren't going well, I might move back here. I also have family here. My family's getting older. Want to spend some time with them before Dad kicks the bucket.
Oh shit!
No, I'm just kidding. No, he's healthy.
We're getting close, huh?
No. It's just my parents are a bit older for my age, but just like the older you get, you do want to be around some family. And if I can figure out how to keep things going up in Portland, I'm gonna try and give it another year or so. See if something's working, I might stay longer. If not, because there are the cool things. I don't just shit constantly on Oregon or Portland, but there's some really cool things about it. I do like being in a place where there's just like life everywhere.
Right.
It's just like
it's very green.
You just look at concrete. It's just like life is spurting out of this stuff. No matter how much we try to keep it under, it's crazy. It's beautiful. Food scene's good. My partner is a baker.
Oh,
at, like
that's
the number
awesome.
one bakery in Portland. Shout out Emily.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's awesome. And the food scene there is really cool because the food scene is almost like how the music industry was in the 90s, sort of. Like in Portland, it's about food carts. And there's a bunch of things called food cart pods where it's kind of like Albuquerque's starting to get some where it's like there'll be 10 or sometimes 15, sometimes 5, just food carts that are all independently owned by just an owner that's like, and they're kind of doing their own thing. And some of them are really creative and really cool, and they'll have like their own everything, and they'll make a menu that's really cool, and their food will be kind of experimental with mixing genres and stuff of different food styles. And you'll get it. And what's cool is like if they do really well, they'll get kind of a social media following, and they'll eventually get enough kind of clout and money to open up a brick and mortar, which would be like the equivalent of like a band that does it themselves.
Yeah.
And if they start to get some clout and money, they'll get a record deal from like a label or whatever.
Right.
So it's really cool in Portland. Like I've seen some food trucks because I'm somewhat in the food scene just because my girlfriend she's worked at Matt's Barbecue Tacos, which is like one of the top rated food carts in the country. Not trying to brag about my gal, but she's a boss. But she it's just like in that world, it's like a world in and of itself.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
all know it is weird because like I'd go to these parties that they would throw, and it's like, oh, that's the guy from that food cart. Oh, that's the owner of that food cart. It's like being in bands, sort of,
That's
where like,
cool.
oh, that dude's in that band, and you can tell like who just takes off because of like social media, and like the people almost become figures of themselves,
Yeah.
like in the food scene. So it is really cool to kind of do that, but man, nothing will beat fucking green chili, like for me. So that's a hard pull.
That was like one of the easiest yeses I've ever said in my life.
Oh yeah, I
When-
was seeing you
Yeah.
sponsored, right?
when Chopped Chili approached me to do the pod, to sponsor the pod, I was like, yes, it's so good, dude. It is.
Oh, shop, dude. You don't really see these much.
Yeah, it is so good. That blend is fucking amazing. And Mac, when they had approached me and they sent me some, it's my money. When they had sent
Going
me
back on a plane with me.
a box full of stuff to try, I was like, fuck, y'all ain't gonna sponsor me no more. This was enough. Like, this is so fucking good.
Shout you out for life.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. And the way that you described like that food scene, that industry, like that is really like stuff like that doesn't really get highlighted a whole lot anymore. And I think it should, like
Yeah.
on a broader scale, right? People in that community know about it. People talk about it and love it, but like that needs to get pushed. Because what do you hear? The first thing you hear about Oregon is fucking drugs and homelessness, unfortunately. Just like here in Albuquerque, what do you hear about? You hear about homelessness and crime.
Yeah, meth.
And meth, yeah.
You Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Yeah, other people, like Philly's got fucking Rocky Balboa statues, and we've got Walter White and Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but, and that's why I love doing this and talking to people like yourself because, we get to hear about these
Yeah.
beautiful things here
Kinda
out
sides, man.
that people just don't know about.
Yeah.
So what, right now, is there a plan? Is there any kind of, vision, anything like what you're doing for your music in the next year or so? Because obviously in the near 5 hours or so, you've got a
Show in Santa Fe.
a show in Santa
baby.
Fe.
Yeah, with Side Montero again. So
That's awesome.
Double
Oh, no
booking
shit.
with them.
That's awesome.
Then another band called Gold Tides from Santa Fe.
where you're playing at.
Rufina Tap Room. I don't know if this is live, but
Yeah, it's live.
If you're watching, you want to see a good ass show. So for the future, we Homebody. We're currently using this tour time. We have a few off days that we're going to record our next few songs. We have quite a few in the pipeline that we're going to just sporadically release over the year.
Okay.
We're planning another bigger tour in September,
Cool.
tentatively, going to California this time and then up to Oregon. So
Nice.
we can tie that together.
Cali will be fun.
Yeah.
Expensive, but fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're only going to try and play and then just get through it.
Yeah.
And, we got some homies out there, so
That's
shouldn't
awesome.
be too bad. But we so Homebody's doing that. My own stuff, I have a record for my shit I'm putting out under a band called Rue Badly, or a name called Rue Badly. That's my solo stuff. And then I'm trying to form a band called Kister Blister, which is this kind of noise punk duo, just bass and drums, but my bass is all heavy and riffified. So, so those are the upcoming things for this year for me. But yeah, definitely pushing out Homebody. So if you all watching want to follow us, we're Homebody_is_ here on Instagram. We're on Spotify, Bandcamp, OnlyFans. That's where we post the. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, no shit. Hello. Demonetized.
It's just us, yeah. It's just us taking off our shirt and there's a guitar there. We had a joke we used to say, like, at the end of shows, we'd be like, you can find us on LinkedIn. So when you use LinkedIn.
And half the fucking crowd has no idea what you're talking about.
Except the one guy in the suit who's like there because of a layover. He wasn't supposed to be there. He's like, okay, I'll find you on LinkedIn.
That's where I stalked the secretary. Right. All right, man. Well, this has been a fucking pleasure.
Hey, no, this went by quick. It
Yeah.
was nice and easy. Yeah, sorry, thanks for getting up for me. I know it was like, man, after
Hey,
a whole night.
no. Thank you for coming through. The show last night was killer.
Yeah.
Again, big shout out to LaMelo inside Montero. They fucking killed it. And best of luck tonight on your show, dude.
Appreciate
It's been
ya.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening and watching, and we'll check it out next time. Bye, everybody. Bye.